Welcome everyone to our council meeting, April 26, 2023. We'll start off by the First Nation recognition. Before we begin, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered today next to the Scoodic, the St. Croix River, on the ancestral unceded territory of the Pastunamakati people who have lived here for countless generations, along with the river and the lands throughout the watershed and on the bay. I see Councillor Highslip's not with us. Yeah, okay, so everyone else is in attendance. Okay, so next up, I need a mover and seconder for the agenda with the removal of item E1 as it was approved in our last meeting. So I need a on March 29th. Oh, sorry, Deputy Mayor Wheaton, Councillor Harding. That the minutes of the special council meeting be. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so the agenda of the council meeting with the removal of the E1. Any questions on that? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, so then we have. Oh, sorry.
This may be the appropriate jump for you to
right.
undertake your mayor's privileges here.
Okay. Yes. So I'd like to. Three separate parties here I'd like to get some certificates to for their great work in our community. And I'm looking around for the certificates. Where was that pile? Right behind me. Good. All right. Now, with all this technology, I feel like I'm tied right here, but I'm going to get up anyway. Okay. Where's Lydia hiding? Is it all right if I just walk around this room here? Oh, I should do this podium? Okay.
Right up here. Go ahead.
No. That's not good. I would like to present you with this certificate for your great work, your great leadership, and getting people moving and cleaning up our community, and taking on that challenge and loving your community. And your certificate from the town council and the town of St. Stephen, or municipal district of St. Stephen. Sorry, I'm going to get that right one of these days. But here's your certificate. And there's Mom looking at us right now. Just look at Mom.
You got to look at me. There you go. Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And here's a gift.
There you go. What do you say?
And seriously, thank you so much. It takes a leader to get people moving, and we respect that. And thank you to Mom for helping.
It was her vision.
Yeah, well, you gotta help though.
It was her vision. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good job, Lydia.
That's very nice.
This is a tight room in here. Okay. Well, this is going to be challenging. Where is Anne Marie hiding?
She's way in the back.
Anne Marie, how are you hiding back there so quiet?
It's not like me.
Oh, we'll get those other things to you after. Get this to you anyway. Yeah, that was probably where, yeah, we might use some space. Okay, face the mic. Anne Marie and Marilyn. Another certificate to some great volunteers and the many, many things you guys do. So hopefully that young lady follows your footsteps and continues on what you guys always are doing for many, many things. But is recognized that you guys are, I mean, you guys are doing this every week along the trail and looking after our community in many, many ways. This is just one thing I'd like to hand over to you. Here's your certificate for you guys. And I was supposed to point towards the mic and I didn't, but anyway, this is too confusing in here.
You want me to
Yeah.
take a picture?
And this is the walking group for the seniors.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, Randy. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And that's the walking group. And I got some coffee. There's a bunch of gifts up there. I can't carry them all, but I'll get them to you.
Okay.
Yeah, for the whole crew. Yeah.
Oh, each,
Yeah.
because there were 6 of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And anyway, thank you so much. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you.
Now I'm looking for the St. Stephen High School volleyball team. Oh, right here. Hi, guys. Kyle Smith and Taylor White? Yes. Hi, how you doing? So I got guess they're all 3 of them. You got the camera, do you? Okay. Number 3. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Seriously. It's the same thing. We love what you do. You did a great job at the lawn chair hall, I believe. I saw all the bags and all the work, and many hands make light work, and appreciate what these sporting events are doing for our community. It's bringing you guys together and doing these great things. And here you go for everyone in there.
Thank you.
And hold on, I need to get this up.
You boys switched out the radiators or something too, didn't you, for Municipal? Good job.
Good job, fellas. Appreciation. Thank you very much. Seriously.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Oh, some nice stuff for a change. Whew. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's much appreciated to see the people stepping up in our community. Okay, am I live on that mic? I'm all good to go? All right. If I can get back to business here, I need a mover and seconder for the minutes of the regular council meeting held on March 29th. Councillor Wright and Councillor Harding. Any questions on that? Okay, that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on March 29, 2023 be approved as presented. All those in favor? Oh, we are, sorry, already. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. That was I did it twice, sorry. Okay. Now we got another fun one here. We got public delegation, Milltown Activity Group. Is there someone here representing that? Oh, hi.
Is the mic on? Yeah. Oh, this is an honor. Okay, so tonight we want to thank you for fitting us in on your agenda. My name is Cindy Hartford, and I'm from Milltown. I have born and raised in Milltown, still there. And I just come tonight to get our councilor, mayor, and deputy mayor and councilors familiar with our committee and what we have done in the last year, and what we'd like to move on forward to do it. I have some committee members here tonight for support, 4 or 5 of them. Some of them can't be here. You probably met our mascot out front tonight, Milltown Mike, and of course he's got the name on the beaver without a dam. That's our beaver, our mascot, okay? And it's all in good. It's all good.
Well, how's your name? What's your name?
I'm not really sure about that. I think it was just one of the committee members, Margaret Campbell, that come up with the name. And it suited him. Milltown Tom wasn't good enough. When we said Milltown Mike, we thought that's a go for Milltown Mike. He's getting out around the community. The kids love him. We're hoping that he gets out even more. Okay? We are pleased to say that, we started our committee meetings on June the 22nd of 2022, and there was about 8 of us that gathered at Carmen's Diner. And we brought attention that Milltown, we got together because we felt that Milltown needed some attention, you know? So we are pleased to say that our committee has grown to 12 to 13 people and our one mascot. Our focus is to create special events in the area for families. Our first event that we ever held was our ice cream social, which was last Labor Day weekend, last year, in 2022, and it was a great event enjoyed by young and the elderly. We had live entertainment, a free ice cream donation given from Greg Hooper from the Milltown Market, and we are planning our ice cream event again this year, bigger and better. Our second event was our Christmas in Milltown. This event took place November the 26th, 2022, with a craft sale at the St. Patrick's Hall with approximately 25 vendors who all had a great time and were booked, and they are all booked again for 2023. The lighting of the bandstand has gone on for a few years with Tom Booth and his family, getting this started. We had Bob Hamill, who donated his music, treats for all the kids from our special guest, Mr. and Mrs. Claus, who arrived in the town's new fire truck. Wow, was there ever excitement. This would have never taken place if we didn't have support from our local businesses who donated, such as Aruco, Milltown Machine and Fabrication, Ganongs, and the past residents that still hold their hearts in Milltown. Milltown will always be home. This was a magical night with positive and grateful feedback that we received. We also then entered a small float into the parade with our guests, the Grinch and Cindy Lou Who, bringing Christmas back to Milltown. It truly felt Christmas was back in our town. We then had a basket, and we filled the basket with many donations, and the basket was drawn the week of Easter at our meeting. The money raised will go towards some fun activities we have planned for the kids in the community this summer. Focusing on the future with losing our dam in Milltown, Bob from MB Power has met with some members of our committee to discuss something large for Milltown. We were focusing on an outside rink which can be enjoyed by all ages and create additional local events. However, if that falls through, we will move forward to Plan B. In June, this coming June, Milltown Elementary School Fun Day. The committee has met with Kathy Halstead to join in on the fun day for the children, as we want to be involved and make it a great end of the season for the children. On July the 1st, planning a small activity at the Cotton Mill statue. Huge thank you to John Williamson for taking the time to meet with our mascot, Milltown Mike, and the donation that he gave to pass out on our Canada Day. The committee submitted a letter to the town of St. Stephen for upgrades on the Milltown bandstand. As estimates have been done and the electrical at the bandstand is in desperate need of an upgrade, we were hoping to apply for the community grant. We realize this is the town's property and Milltown committee pay a fee for using this. It seems to be where all the events are and people are gathering to take place, but we want to be safe. In closing, I want to thank Kev Sumner for the new LED pole lights that he arranged for our bandstand. We have lots of comments. It has made a great improvement. Also, if anyone would be interested in joining our committee, please contact us. We meet once a month for about an hour at Carmen's Diner, and we welcome all. We also have a treasurer on our committee that takes care of our banking, and we do have e-transfer for donations. Thank you for your time. We look forward to communicating and working with you in the future. Milltown Activity Group. Thanks.
And again, as I said earlier, thank you for what you guys are doing up in your area of town, in Milltown, and still keeping that home for all the people that still look at that as home, and keeping them connected too on Facebook. I always watch and see the people how they like to look back at their home when they're away. So thank you for everything you guys are doing. And do we have a council member on that committee? Yes, we do. Okay. Two? Okay. Perfect. All right. Thanks. Okay. So next up, we have the St. Stephen Area Chamber of Commerce Community Safety Initiative. And that would be Jason.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First off, I'd like to thank all of you for having and giving us the opportunity of the Chamber to speak tonight. My name's Jason Rideout. I'm the president of the St. Stephen Area Chamber of Commerce in my second year of my 2-year term. And the joke is at Chamber, I'm the historian because I've been around there for about 12 to 14 years. So I know a little bit about the history. But I'm here to speak tonight on the Community Safety Initiative and our part and role and what we've been doing and looking at that initiative. Before I jump in, just to give an update on the Chamber itself, we are 150 members strong and growing. We had new members, anywhere from 3 to 6 a month during 2023. So we're a very vibrant chamber, a very engaged executive, which I'm very proud of. That I have lots of good folks to lean on, and we have different committees that everybody works on from that front there. And over the past several weeks, we've had the opportunity to work with Wade Greenlaw, our counselor that's been appointed to our group. So that is a great opportunity that we look forward to leveraging and working with Wade so Wade can bring back what we're doing in Chamber in our community. This all started the Community Safety Initiative. We had 2 or 3 Chamber members reach out to Tara, our executive director, with concerns around theft, vandalism, and safety in their businesses. With 3 reaching out, I chatted with the executive and we thought we'd poll our membership of 150 to see if this was a larger issue at the time. Within 48 hours, we had approximately 30 of our members reach out to us with emails about issues around theft, vandalism, and safety. These weren't one-line emails or whatnot. It was very eye-opening to us as Chamber executive. We hear there's issues and items, and over the years there's always been issues around theft and vandalism and such that way there. But to have 20% of our membership come back in less than 48 hours, we felt this was an initiative that we needed to take on and look at from that perspective. So we met, our executive built out somewhat of a strategy to say, how do we take a look at this? And a couple items, 3 items come out of that discussion. One was ensuring we're communicating with our membership to understand their issues, concerns, what they wanted to know. Second was working with the partners in the community, the municipality, the RCMP, the BIA, and Neighborhood Works, and everybody involved in our community to see how we can address this. And the third action item was trying to find some items that we can work on quite quickly that could help deter some of these items that our chamber members were facing. From that, we've had various meetings. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. I know Tara's made the joke that which meeting are we at today and whatnot, and it's made my tax season even more interesting. So anyhow, we've met with all most community partners. We've had the opportunity, the chamber executive, and we partner with the BIA executive, so we're not being redundant in our meetings. So we've met with everybody, and our last community group that we have to meet, and we're actually planning on hosting our next chamber executive meeting is at Neighborhood Works to learn more of that. So that'll be coming up in mid-May. So out of those meetings with the RCMP, Mayor Wade's been at these meetings. We met with Kathy Baucus. There's a couple things that we see that I think are quick wins that the chamber wants to work with the municipal district and our partners to tackle. And the first one of those is the concept of community cameras. In chatting with the RCMP, in chatting with our membership on what they've done in their businesses and such, the community camera concept would be one where cameras are placed strategically through our community. The chamber would focus, in the business areas and try to find that opportunity to give more eyes. One of the things that Scott McKenzie from the RCMP brought up is that more eyes and ears, if we can see things, have recordings of such, as that can help them do their job. And certainly I'll get into our discussion with the RCMP, but one thing I would ask is that we look and work together as a community to try to meet that goal, the community camera concept. Very interestingly enough, we provided an update to our membership last week of what we've been up to in our meetings and our discussions, and we mentioned this idea of community cameras. And essentially we said we'd be sending more out, but the concept would be is a camera could be placed on the business. It would be oversight by the municipal district or whatnot, but would a business be willing to host a camera in the sense of putting it on their property and providing access to Wi-Fi? It wasn't an official ask, but I'm happy to say 5 businesses have already came back just on that update and said they're willing to participate without even doing a formal ask. So I think that's something that the chamber would like to work with the municipal district over the next month or so to see if we can get some traction. And I know working with Wade's been pushing our MLA to look at some community funding, but that's one area that we would like to work with the municipal district on to try to find and get a quick win on that front. Another one that comes with that, and it came out of discussions with RCMP and some of our members brought it up, is one thing the municipal district could help guide or we can work together on is clear lines of sight. So that's sort of secondary to the cameras, is that, clearing up vegetation, different things in public areas or businesses as well, to try to get a sense. As the RCMP, Scott McKenzie, mentioned that if there's clear lines of sight, cameras only work if there's clear lines of sight. So, and I know numerous members of the chamber and BIA have brought up their concerns about the vegetation and the bushes and such along our waterfront and some things going on in that area. So is there something that we can look at there? So those are the 2 asks, I think, that from tonight that chamber wants to essentially work with the municipal district on to try to find a solution. Our next item is, we appreciate what the municipal district's doing right now and looking at the RCMP and policing and looking at the contracts and stuff. We know certainly we don't have any power to maneuver those and that's in your court, but we want to let the municipal district know the chamber's there to support you in that effort. We can provide information. We can get you information from the businesses. Like I said, we're 150 members strong, so we can certainly be a sounding board or serve on a committee to look at these items from that standpoint. Some of the items we've asked in our meetings with the various community members and specifically with our MLA, Kathy Bacchus, is the role of the public safety branch of the provincial government. They were very visible during our COVID times, and I know many of our chamber members were visited by them, and we've asked, is there a role for them to play in that matter in our community? So Kathy said she's going to look into that. And then another one that I know Kathy's working on and chamber is in full support of this is the mobile mental health unit. And we think that's a great opportunity that we need to get into our community. So those are things there. So we know, and then private security, how does that fit? But we're available to meet, discuss, help out. If we can help do research, get you anything, that's what we're looking to do. And I want to end this evening essentially on the fact that I think, there's long-term solutions. It's going to take a while to find the right solution. If we can get some quick wins potentially around the community cameras and such that way there, I think it's important that we work together moving forward in all aspects of the community and such. And I just want to let the municipal district know that the chamber is available and is willing to work with you in partnership on anything around the issue of public safety. So that's all I have. Great. Thank you.
Thank you for your support as well. And your, not just your support and members, but you give us more strength. I told you that before, is, we have many voices supporting us on this initiative. And I just got a note to make sure I hit the mic, and I didn't, but I think someone turned it on. So sad. I got a note, and I still didn't do it. Oh. Okay. So yes, thank you, Jason, and Chamber, and the BIA over there. You're all working together. Thanks. Okay. Next up, I need a mover and seconder for the report of the Chief Administrative Officer. Mover and seconder, please. Councilor Wright, Councilor Greenlaw. Any questions? Okay, the officer acknowledged and received. I'll let you speak first and then we'll approve it. There we go.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's been a busy reporting period out of the CAO's office and out of all the departments, as you'll see, I'm sure, in their reports as well. As noted by Mr. Rideout, my office has been taking the lead on our think around municipal enforcement enhancement, what that could look like, and that document has been partially drafted. It's now been colored a bit by our discussions during our strategic planning sessions, where some other ideas and things kind of percolated around. So I'll be revisiting that document starting tomorrow to try and tune that in before presentation, hopefully at the next Committee of the Whole meeting for the committee's review and comment. On Committee of the Whole, from administration side, I think we've been quite pleased with the progress that utilizing the Committee of the Whole approach has been having. We would like to recommend, or my office would like to recommend, that we actually set a set schedule for those dates. That's later on your agenda, a recommendation on that front. It does allow us to plan our work schedules and provide, as I say, a kind of a preset meeting for special council meetings, where if we need a quick approval for a contract, usually is when we're trying to get something on out of the normal sequence. It's a date that we know that we're all planning on getting together anyway, and we can tack it on. Collective bargaining took place during this reporting period, two full days. General tone of the discussions were positive, mainly focused on non-monetary issues and cleaning up some language in the bureaucratic red tape side of the collective agreement. We will be setting some more dates to continue our work on that front. As Council is probably aware, our agreement with our union expired December 31st of last year, which actually ended up being good timing with the municipal reform changing a lot of things anyway. But those discussions will continue, and hopefully in not too long I'll be bringing something forward for council ratification. The strategic planning sessions I mentioned, I know from my side of the table, we found it very enlightening to have that opportunity to work with Mr. McIntosh, a long-time colleague of mine, and work with you folks to kind of flesh out some of our hopes and dreams and goals for the term and into the future. It was nice to see that there was probably more congruence on a lot of issues than we thought at the outset when we started boiling it down and making our action plan. I've been working with Mr. McIntosh to get the deliverables from those sessions. He just sent those to me yesterday and today. So I'm going to take some of those documents that we worked on as far as our action plan and whatnot, tune them up with some of the administrative approaches and bring those back to Committee of the Whole for review and discussion, so that we can hopefully agree on a plan forward and a reporting and accountability strategy alongside it. The communication update, as I noted in my report, I made a diligent effort to try and get access to the provincial alerting system that allows us would allow us to ping all cell phones in a geographic region, as part of our desire to enhance our emergency notification systems, which would be free. Unfortunately, the government of New Brunswick has denied the request, and I will leave that in your folks' capable hands, because I do think that's an advocacy issue that we should be seriously considering taking on, rather than having all these municipalities across the province hiring other services and contractors to do a redundant system to one that's already built nationwide. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me for use of taxpayer money. So it would be nice if we could encourage our friends at the province to rethink their position. I just wanted to make a note so it didn't get lost. I have been working on the speed sign request from a previous council meeting for on the Ledge Road. I got the documentation from my colleagues at the RSC. That speed sign has a whole bunch of logistical rules that go around it about when it can be out, when it can't be out, and weather issues, and how it gets locked up at night, and distance from road and things. And the Ledge Road is, you know, for those that travel it every day like I do, there's not a lot of room on between the edge of the road and the ditch, and so finding a good spot and making sure we have the logistical capacity to take it down every night, take it to the Oak Bay Fire Hall or something, and lock it up per the requirements of the agreement from the RSC. It's a bit challenging. So we're not giving up on it, but it was more complicated than I expected when I first put out the request. So we are, for those that are keen to see that out there, it is still being worked on. It's just a little more complicated. And with that, I was out of province for the last couple of days on a personal matter, but was able to get my flights back in time to join you here tonight. So.
Any questions of council?
Okay, thank you. No, I just want to thank you, Jeff, because this is the third time that I've heard Mr. McIntosh. I think he's brilliant as far as municipal work is concerned, and I want to thank you for bringing him here. I learn something from him every time, and thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council? Councillor Rhodes.
I'd just like to second Councillor Harding in saying I thought he was excellent, and the great thing about him as a facilitator was the fact that he really has traveled throughout Canada and presented to many different communities of our size, and I found that a lot of the issues that we're struggling with here, I don't think we're the only ones across Canada. So it's kind of nice to hear not only that we're not the only ones, but sometimes unique solutions that other smaller communities have come up with around some of the issues that we're seeing here. So I'm excited for this council and the work we have ahead of us, and I feel that we actually are very much on the same page with a lot of the key priorities we were looking at. So thanks, Jeff, for organizing that, and it was fantastic. I look forward to seeing him again.
Thank you. Just get my green light back. Is any other questions or comments from council? Okay. Thank you for your work on all those files. And let's see where we go from that. All right, so I had the mover and seconders, no other questions. Can I have all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you, Jeff. All right, next up, public comment period. Is there any comments from our public? Step up to the podium, introduce yourself.
My name is Richard Heislip. I moved here in December. I'm new to your area, but I'm not new to some of the problems that you're going through. I ran a community service in Moncton for 16 years, and I've taken personally 1.3 million used drug needles off the streets. My group in Moncton's taken 2 million. We are about community safety. We're about making the parks, schoolyards, and daycares safe. We go out in the mornings, we check before the kids get there, we make sure it's safe. We've taken $8 million worth of drugs off the streets that were turned over to be destroyed by the RCMP. We picked up over probably 500,000 cookers, which is really scary because some of them still have fentanyl in it or crystal meth, and they're laying on the ground. I've taken probably 500,000 loaded, still uncapped needles that are a threat to the children, the people, and the pets of the community. And I did this for 16 years, and I gave it up there last spring, a year ago. And I moved here. And I've had over 500 people ask me, can you help the community? And I'm going to help you guys with this if you want the help. I'll help you build a system where if a person's out walking their dog or their child, they see a needle, call the number. We'll go get it. parks need to be safe. The schoolyards need to be safe. We need to make it a kid-safe community. 2 milligrams of fentanyl will drop a 6,400 kg elephant dead. What would it do to a child? What would it do to your dogs? So, I was asked to help, and I'm offering my services to the community to help build a system in which we can help make it a safe, kid-safe town. We're still on Google. It's Needle Dogs Moncton. I took my Facebook down. We were hacked and moved here, and I've had an overwhelming amount of people have asked me to help set up a system here. And I have talked to quite a few businesses. I've talked to quite a few parents, talked to a lot of people. I think it would be best wise for the community to have a service to pick that up. Better than having a dead child in the park. That's what's the direction it's going to head to. Moncton is number 2 for drug usage in Canada. And I ran 16 years the streets, picking up, in one day, 14,900 needles. I'd hate to see St. Stephen end up like that. So I'm offering my services to the community to help the community. And we can build a volunteer group. You go out to see a needle, we call people. There are people that have offered to help walk the parks and stuff, but they need grippers, no-stick gloves, Moxel training, and first aid training. Because when you're out on the streets, you're the first responder before the first responders get there. So we need to, I'll spend some time with you guys. Whoever's in charge of the community safety, I'll work with them and help.
Okay, what did you say that was? Needle Dogs?
Needle Dogs Moncton. We're not on Facebook because we got hacked, but it's still on Google. And we're on, like we did CTV, Global, CBC, newspapers, radio. I was a voice for Moncton for 16 years, and we're in 8 communities now. We've branched out, we train people, and they go out and they help their communities.
Okay, all right. Have you contacted Sean or? Yeah. Okay, good. So that's your avenue. Yeah. 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 All right. So good. So you guys stay connected. Yeah. Yeah.
A kid-safe city is the most important thing. But what is your future? Your children. So let's make it a kid-safe city, and we don't have to worry about our futures of our children being ruined by a few minutes of indiscretion. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. It just, I turned on, it turns off. It's probably because you're starting to speak, I guess. I'll catch on. All right. Thank you for that. Any other comments from the public? Okay. All right. Let's move on. Can a mover and seconder to move into the departmental reports? Councillor Harding, Councillor Eastman. And here we go. Next up is the Deputy CEO report. Sean, thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Start with protective services. For the period between March 22nd and April 18th, we had a total of 28 calls. That's a little bit above average, but not uncommon for this time of year. The biggest factor in that would be the 10 grass fires, which is normal for this time of year. Most of the others are typical calls that we see any other month. As far as fire department activities, a fair bit of training has been going on. We did some Tower 1 and SCBA orientation out at the Oak Bay Station. Did wildfire pump training at the St. Stephen Station. And we hosted a DNR wildland firefighting course at the St. Stephen Station and we had 25 students from around the county that attended that. And of course, a Firefighter 1 program is ongoing, and we have, I think, 12 new recruits going through that program. I spend a fair bit of time instructing that program. My activities, of course, were tied in with what the fire department does, but as an individual, I guess working on the emergency plan is a big one. I've been picking away at that when I can find time, and I am making progress, albeit slow. Bylaw enforcement, typical month. And unfortunately, this month, Manzer is on a well-needed vacation, so I didn't have his numbers at the time of reporting, but they'll probably be reflected in Alex's report. So before I move on to infrastructure, are there any questions related to protective services?
Councillor Harding?
Thank you. I sent, yeah. No, I didn't. Okay. Let's get this down. Anyway, I got a complaint or a letter, email the other day about trash on other people's properties, and I passed it on to Brent. I just haven't talked to Brent about it. Do we have some sort of bylaw that will suggest, not make, maybe suggest that people have to pick up their garbage and not have it all over the road and all over the other people's lawns and whatever? I said I didn't know that I would.
There's a littering bylaw, I believe, related to public property, but I don't think that would necessarily apply to private property. I'd have to look into that for you, but I think private property is private property, and if you have garbage on your property, you're responsible for it.
And that's what I said.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, because it's a shame if you have a nice property and next door it's all over the place, so.
Whether the wind blows it in or it gets dropped there, ultimately it falls on the landowner.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Councillor Harding. If it was a fire hazard, I think we could take care of it, but yeah. I just remember another one we had to deal with there. It was very challenging.
Quite a large accumulation of debris to become a fire hazard, but yeah, that would be a different situation for sure.
Okay. Floor is yours, Sean, to move on.
More questions on protective services. Infrastructure. You'll see my description of work that's ongoing within the three departments in general, I guess. Typical stuff for this time of year. I will say that sweeping is ongoing, and sweeping is going well. Good weather is the main thing, and I don't want to jinx myself, but not a lot of other things breaking down and distracting us from sweeping. So sweeping is going well. You'll have noticed if you're out around Milltown Boulevard, we started at the border, and they're right down into the downtown now. I believe I keep coming up King Street and then start back into some of the side areas. This part of town where the GCC is and east is done, south of King Street. So we are making good progress. Water flushing is ongoing as well. We've had a couple of minor breakdowns that we've had to deal with that have stopped us temporarily for water flushing, but that's just temporary, and we'll be back on it. So if you're just kind of make note on the website where they are and what they're doing, and as far as monitoring whether you're going to have any impacts as a result of that. As far as my activities, Assistant Treasurer Godso and I have had some meetings with insurance with respect to the lagoon fire, and we've made some good progress there. We were a little bit clearer on what we can claim, what we can't claim, what our limits are. So that's progressing well. There's some information in there that I gave as far as an update on the Maxwell Crossing well site. I'm not going to go through all of that, but certainly if anybody had any questions on that, I'd be willing to entertain them on that or anything else with respect to my report.
Councillor Greenlaw?
Just on the insurance on the wastewater treatment, did you determine whether the diesel was part of what the?
Yes, it is covered, and I will have to say, and I've said this before, our good neighbors, Ruco and the town of Hampton, have saved us. There is a cap on the amount of resources that we're able to claim with respect to maintaining operation. Losses related to the fire, we have a very high cap and there'll be no issue there, but the amount of money we spend to keep that thing going, there is a cap, and if we were still on diesel, we'd have blown that 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So thank you again to those generous donors with that equipment, because they've really saved us, and I know the insurance company appreciates it too. So we're good. We're good there. So far, anyways. We're not done yet, so.
Councillor Wright?
Thank you. At the bottom of your infrastructure report, it says there's an update from Dillon Consulting, and one of the items, just because some of us here on council are new, if you don't mind just filling us in on what it is, it says the Plaza project is set to begin construction. What project is that?
That's the area out here between Five Kings and Library, the courtyard out there. I don't have a lot of details on that. Mr. Sumner could tell you more about what is actually going on there, but that's the area that we're talking about. You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Is that it for you? Yes, it is. Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Okay, next up, Alex.
Thank you, Your Worship. All right, so I'm continuing work on a new subdivision bylaw for the municipal district. I think I mentioned this before, but one of the new challenges we have is integrating the provincial DTI roads with municipal local roads, and when and how you approve that as a council, because it's a sort of both and kind of procedure. So it's there's still no subdivision bylaw in the province that I've seen that has done this before, so it is breaking new ground. We also have a rezoning application, which council you're looking at setting a date for a public hearing for tonight. We've issued a variance at 12 Bayview Drive for development of a existing lot with an undersized width. So oftentimes when you hear about is that a building lot or not, it really can depend on the dimensions of the lot. And if it's a pre-existing lot and there's really nothing that can be done about a narrow width, you can look at doing a variance. In this case, that was done. We also have two members from the municipal district that are continuing on PRAC. So this is the body that handles variances and variance requests. We also had a member who's from the municipal district. He, Gerald Gass, just lived within the boundaries, and he had served eight years on the committee. So we had thanked him for his service. 2 terms is 8 years in total for each, and that's the cap for how many terms you can serve. So we thanked him for a good long service, and Councillor Cornish knows him quite well and has served with him for a number of those years. So with regard to development, we've had 24 building permit applications that we processed and reviewed for zoning compliance and forwarded to the building inspector. Your total construction value so far is $1.8 million. We have also had 3 development permit applications that have been issued. So these are like small garages or detached decks. So a much smaller construction value of $37,000. In addition, we've had several other types of development approvals that we've done in the municipality for you. 9 zoning confirmation letters, which are just letters that say what your zoning is for your property. Sign permit, and 5 subdivision applications that have been approved. We've also worked on a new process with Public Works to make sure that they're reviewing building permit applications that come in that require new public work connections, so be it sewer water connections. So they're seeing the same stuff that the development officers are seeing, so we're working in conjunction, and that process would happen at the same time as opposed to happening at the tail end and delaying the approval processes. So that we're rolling that out, and it's looking good, and working together with Sean on that. So that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of council for Alex? Okay, thanks, Alex. I should have said that was the Southwest Service Commission report, so which I didn't introduce, but my apologies for that. Next up, we got who's doing the community service? Are you doing that, Jeff? Or
It's just there for,
yeah.
if you have questions, we'll happily take them, and if I can answer them, I'll try, but otherwise we'll follow up with you afterwards.
All right, so anything for community services, comments, questions of council? Seeing none, we'll move on. Thank you. Next up, Tim, Treasurer's Report.
Thanks, Mayor. As usual, my report's divided up into 3 areas: staff activity, the statements, and the check register. I guess as far as the staff activity, the only thing I think I want to mention in that section is number 3 under projects. We've received Capital Board approval for financing for the Union Street project, Hawthorne to West, and also the School Street project, Queen to Union Street. So those are with the engineers right now developing the tenders. So you might see something next month in the council meeting as far as some decisions for tenders that come in. As far as the financial statements, the general operating fund, right now this statement is for February, which is 16% of the year. And of course, the revenue expenses don't always flow in exactly, but right now the general operating fund is showing a surplus of $683,442 to the end of February. For the water and the sewer fund, on it right now, at the end of February, showing a deficit of $218,758. That should turn around in March as the water and sewer bills just went out. So that should flip into a surplus at the end of March. Next month's statements. And finally, for the check register, they have, you can see the, for March 2023 check register listing paid bills in the amount of a little bit over $1.4 million for the month. And that's it for my report.
Thank you, Tim. Any questions on the Treasurer's Report? All right, seeing none. Thank you, Tim. Next up is Future St. Stephen Economic Development Report. Ian, please.
Your Worship. So Future St. Stephen, we started our annual strategic planning on March 23rd. We realized it's going to take a lot more conversation, as you would know, and discussion. A lot of my board members are volunteer board members, or they all are volunteer board members that hold full-time jobs. So we're trying to fit this in, and as well as do a really good job of it. A lot of discussion. And I also want to say on behalf of Future St. Stephen, thank you to the CAO, thank you to the council, and yourself, Your Worship, for allowing us to take part in your strategic planning sessions and sitting on that. I think, again, it was very valuable. And as we continue on to do our strategic planning, collaboration is a real theme for us, and we want to make sure that it fits within your strategic plan as well. I've also been meeting with the Economic Development Director of the RSC as well to discuss at a regional level how our strategic plan can fit with them as well in the spirit of collaboration. As the president of Future St. Stephen, I've been identified as the member on behalf of the municipal district to represent on the RSC Development Committee. So we're just starting their strategic planning as well. So I appreciate that I've been identified. So thank you for that. Housing, we're continually ongoing. Unfortunately, due to confidentiality, but we're doing a lot of discussion in the backgrounds about housing. We know it's a hot topic, and we know at every level, so we are continuing those discussions with different parties. I did meet with a couple that moved here recently from Nova Scotia. They were a retired couple, but they had a lot of interest about senior housing, and they passed along some information regarding that. Future St. Stephen, we did host, so we do have the Welcome to St. Stephen program that pairs, like I mentioned earlier, volunteers with new coming families, whether they're moving in from overseas or just relocating from within Canada. We were able to put 6 new volunteers through equity and diversity and inclusion training in collaboration with the Multicultural Association. So they did and assisted in the training, but we got to do that together. And the report backs from them, they really felt it was valuable, and they learned a lot from that. Second, to my last point, I was able to meet with one organization that is looking at basically bringing new retirees. That's the term that Leslie's using. New retirees wanting to re-enter the workforce. And we've been doing a lot of discussion with businesses. So we're finding businesses that have identified potential vacancy within their organization and a new retiree that has some kind of specialized training and trying to pair them up. So I had a meeting with Leslie Parm with that organization, and she's doing great work. So we'll continue on with that as we try to help her network with local businesses. Lastly, in conclusion, the job fair, it was the most successful one we've ever had within St. Stephen. We were able to have 36 different businesses or employers participate with a total of 310 total job vacancies, with an estimated of about 60 that were unique postings. So not just generalized labor, but a very specialized or specific posting. And in conclusion, 90 people visited the job fair. We really felt like it was successful. I'd like to thank all the partners. There was quite a few working MB, the Chamber, now I'm going to forget everyone, PHRS, and anyone else that actually helped with that. It was really successful, and we continue on to do it. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ian. Any questions of council or comments? No. All right. Must have been. Oh, sorry, Councillor Harding.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to say, as I read over this report over the weekend, what a good job you're doing, Ian. And this is difficult times. I mean, you listen to the Chamber of Commerce, listen to people's phones ringing all the time. This is very difficult times for you, because I can't, with all the publicity on social media, I can't see anybody wanting to dive right into St. Stephen at this point. However, this too shall pass. But anyway, I just want to thank you for the great job you're doing.
Thank you, Councillor Harding. Any more comments or questions from council? All right, seeing none, thank you. Thanks for your report. Okay, now I need any more, so there's no more questions on that. I'll take all those in favor of accepting all the departmental reports. Okay, any opposed? Seeing none, thank you. Motion carried. Okay, next up we got bylaws. I need a mover and second for bylaw number MDSS 0523-2, bylaw to amend bylaw 05-23- for its first reading. Councillor Harding, Councillor Eastman. That the bylaw MDSS 0523-2, a bylaw to amend bylaw 05-23, being the council procedure bylaw, be given its first reading. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll need a mover and seconder for bylaw number 07-23, a bylaw respecting the duties and powers of the Chief Administrative Officer, second and third readings by title. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Wright, Deputy Mayor Wheaton. That the bylaw number 07-23, a bylaw respecting the duties and powers of the Chief Administrative Officer, be given a second and third readings by title. All those, any questions? Oh,
Just so it's on the record, this bylaw and the next bylaw were, the intention to do third reading was advertised on the municipal website in accordance with the Local Governance Act, which allows you to avoid having to do the reading in full. So just so it's on the record that it was duly advertised as required.
thank you. And that's a good motion for any more questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Say another one. A mover and seconder for bylaw number 08-23, a bylaw to authorize delegation of certain powers of the Chief Administrative Officer, second and third reading by title. Mover and seconder, please. Council Harding, Council. I'll take Council Cornish. So the bylaw number 08-23, a bylaw to authorize and delegation of the certain powers of the Chief Administrative Officer, given its second and third reading by title. All those, any more questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next up, we got request for decisions. Setting a date for a public hearing of objections for planning bylaws. So I can have a mover and a seconder, please. Councilor Eastman? Councilor Greenlaw. Council to set a date for the public hearing of objections, municipal plan amending the bylaw M-2-04 and rezoning bylaw Z-3-01 in accordance with the section 111 of the Community Planning Act. Any questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Need a mover and seconder for a regular session of council. Change the date for May 2023. Councilor Harding. Second. Deputy Mayor Wheaton. The council changes the date of regular council meeting from council from May 31st to May 24th in 2023. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay. I need a mover and seconder for the Committee of Whole meetings. Councilor Rodas, Councilor Eastman. The council establishes a regular schedule of Committee of the Whole meetings as being held on the second Wednesday of each month. Any questions on that? Oh, sorry.
Should be at 6 p.m. as well.
Okay.
I just did the recommendation. That's my fault. But it's in accordance with your request.
Okay. Okay, so the council establishes a regular schedule of Committee of the Whole meetings being held on the second Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m. I already had a mover and seconder, Councilor Rodas and Councilor Eastman. Any questions or comments on that? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next up, correspondence. Mover and seconder for the following items be received for information. Councilor Harding, Councilor Rodas. We got a SPCA thank you card in your package and a planning review adjustment committee for PRAC letter to council. So we've received those. Any questions or comments on those? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried and received. Thank you. And just a mover and seconder to receive all the councilors' reports. Councilor Eastman, Councilor Rodas. Any questions or comments on the council reports? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Oh, gee. Okay. What happened here? Woo! All right. A motion to close the meeting to the public. Councillor Cornish and Councillor Eastman. You second? All right. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.